को हम सुख भी नहीं कहते, उसको आनंद कहते हैं। भेद बड़ा है, क्योंकि सुख के तो विपरीत दुख जागा हुआ, आनंद के विपरीत कुछ भी नहीं से भरा हुआ पहुंचता है। इसलिए सुसुप्ति आनंद है। सुसुप्ति धन हो, एक ही भाव रह जाता, आनंद का कोई भेद नहीं रह जाता। आप भी पहुंचते हैं रोज। जैसा सुसुप्ति एक रूप है, ऐसे ही वो साक्षी का अनुभव भी एक रूप है, फिर आनंद ही रह जाता है। किस निद्रा और जैसे प्रलय का सागर भरा हो, सीमा। अगर रात भर सपने चलते रहते हैं तो आप कभी नहीं कहते कि सुखद निद्रा आई, कहते हैं रात बेचैनी में गई। ऐसा सपने ही सपने चलते रहे, सो पाए ही नहीं, एक कोई भेद नहीं। जितनी देर को सपने बंद होते हैं उसी देर को सुखद निद्रा आती, लेकिन जब आती तब आपको पता नहीं चलता कि सुखद आ रही, क्योंकि उतना पता भी आपको नहीं चल सकता नींद में, बेहोशी में। सुबह जाग के पता चलता है कि बड़ी सुखद थी, सिर्फ इतना ही पता चलता है कि सुखद थी। एक हल्की छाया छूट गई, जैसे एक ध्वनि रह गई गूंजती हुई सुख की। पर ये बड़े मजे की बात है कि आज तक किसी ने यह अनुभव नहीं किया सुबह उठ के कि रात बड़ी दुखद निद्रा आई। कभी कभी अनुभव किया कि कोई कहे सपने आए हों तो वो निद्रा थी नहीं, सुसुप्ति आई ही नहीं। आज तक मनुष्य जाति के इतिहास में एक आदमी ने सुबह उठ के ये नहीं कहा है कि रात बड़ी गहरी थी, बड़ा दुख अगेंस्ट माइंड एंड नॉट ओनली दिस उपनिषद। ये हुआ ही नहीं कहेगा कि एज सच इज अगेंस्ट माइंड। सुखद निद्रा सुख रूप है, रियली वहां दुख होते ही नहीं। रिलीजन इसलिए उस सुख को हम सुख भी नहीं कहते, उसको आनंद कहते, बिकॉज क्योंकि सुख के तो विपरीत दुख होता है, आनंद के विपरीत कुछ भी नहीं होता। इसलिए सुसुप्ति आनंद है। ऑल ड्रीम्स, एक ही भाव रह जाता, आनंद का कोई भेद नहीं रह जाता। क्रिएट्स एवरीथिंग दैट वी कॉल द वर्ल्ड। तो जैसा सुसुप्ति एक रूप है, ऐसे माइंड साक्षी का अनुभव भी एक रूप है, फिर आनंद ही रह जाता है। और जैसे प्रलय का सागर, ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस, सीमा रहे। दिस इज वन ऑफ द बेसिक ट्रूथ्स, कोई किनारा नहीं। Ordinarily we think we live in one world. That's absolutely false. You live in your world. I live in my world. So really there is not one world. There are as many worlds as there are minds. Each mind is a world of its own. My mind creates my world. Your mind creates your world. A poet lives in his own world. A scientist never passes through that world. Can never pass. A scientist and a poet may be neighbors, but they are poles apart. And not only this, Upanishad, a scientist passes is against mind through a garden. Really, a religion looks at a flower, but the flower is never seen because he looks at the structure of the flower, not at the flower. The flower of the poet, he can never see it. Mind creates everything. When a scientist looks at a flower, it is a chemical phenomenon. Mind is the world. It is a mystery for him. Try to understand this. This is one of the basic, but a mystery which can be decoded. Ordinarily we think we live in one world. It may be unknown, but it is not unknowable. It can be known. If not today, then tomorrow world. But the mystery can be demystified. So really there is reason can penetrate into its structure and know what this flower is and how it flowers. Is a world of its own. The material structure, the atomic structure can be known, can be penetrated. So the flower is never a mystery for a scientist, in the sense it is a mystery for a poet. When a poet passes through this garden and looks at the same flower, this is not the same flower. Note this. The same flower is looked at by two. minds, one of scientific attitude, another of poetic attitude. The flower is same, but not the same. Because the scientist is thinking of a different flower. Chemical, electrical, material, structure. He is thinking of atoms. He is thinking how this flower happens to be. What is its mechanism? How it happens. The poet is not concerned at all with atoms, with matter, with molecules, with mechanism, with structure. No. The poet is concerned with beauty. The scientist is never aware of the beauty. The poet is aware of a certain mystery which he calls beauty. And this mystery is not the same. This mystery to a poet means it can never be decoded. If it can be decoded, then it is not a mystery. To him, mystery means something which will remain unknowable, not unknown. Unknown can become known. Potentially, there is no difficulty to make it known. Unknowable means which cannot be made known. Never. For a poet, a flower will remain a mystery forever. That mysteriousness is its beauty. And beauty has no structure. Beauty has no molecules, no atoms, no mechanism. What is beauty? Beauty is not material. It is immaterial. Really, the poet is not looking at it. He is feeling it. We can bring a mystic also to the garden. A mystic also passes, a saint, a Sufi, a Zen monk. For him, flower is neither. Flower is not a scientific structure to be understood, analyzed, known. Nor the flower is just a beauty, a poetic sense, aesthetics. No. A mystic observing a flower becomes the flower himself. The barriers dissolve. It is not that the flower is there and the mystic is here. Here and there become one. So the mystic can say, I have flowered in you. The division is not there. The mystic enters the very spirit of the flower. Or the flower enters the mystic and becomes one. A feeling of oneness, a feeling of divine oneness comes to the mystic. Scientist approaches the flower through the intellect. A poet approaches the flower through the heart. A mystic approaches the flower through his wholeness, through his totality. The flower is the same, but not the same, because three minds create three worlds, and they never meet. The poet can never understand what the scientist is talking about, what flower he is talking about. The scientist can never understand the poet. He looks childish. talking nonsense. And the mystic is a madman. What do you mean by becoming a flower yourself? Have you gone mad? How can you become a flower? And how the flower can become you? Science depends on division. So the mystic's non-division, no division, world is absurd. He is mad. There are psychological studies of Jesus. They say he was a neurotic, a madman. Your Mahavir, Krishna, Buddha, they are yet untouched, fortunately. Sooner or later, some psychologists will say they were mad. Not because they were mad, but the approaches are different. They are talking of different worlds, different languages. They cannot meet, they cannot communicate. It is difficult to communicate poetry into scientific language. It is difficult to communicate science into a poetic language. If you create poetry out of science, the very scientificness is missed. If you try to translate poetry into scientific language, the beauty disappears. They cannot be translated. That's why Indian scriptures have been translated many times, yet they remain untranslated. They cannot be translated. They all are written in poetry. That is the problem. If you write a certain thing in poetry, it cannot be translated. Prose can be translated, because prose basically is rational. Poetry cannot be translated. It is the world of the irrational. Feelings become more important. Emotions become more important. And mysticism, the lore of the mystics, that is impossible to translate. Because really it is not concerned with language. It is concerned with being, with the totality. A Buddha looking at the world says something, this cannot be translated. Why? Because Buddha's outlook is so vast, so total, that no word can carry it. I wonder whether you know it or not. Buddha made it a point continuously for 40 years while he was preaching not to answer 11 questions. Certain 11 questions he will never answer. And they are the most basic. Really, this is a miracle. How we could accept Buddha as an enlightened man? Because those 11 questions are basic to religion. God included in those 11 questions. And Buddha said to his listeners, never ask about these questions. You can ask anything, but never about these 11 questions. One of his disciples, Mahakashyap, asked him, but these are most basic. If we don't ask them, then nothing remains to be asked. You are playing a trick. In these 11 questions, you have included all questions. If we cannot ask about God, if we cannot ask about soul, if we cannot ask about liberation, then about what we can ask? And these are basic. So please don't make it a point not to answer them. Buddha said, because they are basic. That's why I'm not going to answer them. They are so total that language cannot convey them. And if I convey anything, that will be erroneous. So don't ask them. But I am not denying you to know them. I will give you methods. Through those methods, you will be able to know them. But I am not going to answer them. Really, religion has no answers. Religion has only methods. Those methods give you certain perspectives, certain situations from where you can look and penetrate into problems. But religion has no answers. Every mind, each mind is a world unto itself. That's why there is so much conflict. No one understands another. You may live with your wife for 40 years, 50 years. But have you observed the fact that you cannot understand each other's language? The husband says something. The wife immediately understands something else. 40, 50 years they are living together. What is the problem? They have not yet been able to understand each other's terms and definitions. It is difficult. They have two minds. Each mind has its own world. And whatsoever penetrates into this world takes its shape and color. The husband has his own world. Whatsoever he says, it means something in his pattern of thinking. When this penetrates in his wife's world, it becomes something else. They never meet. You can meet only when you are silent. When you are talking, you cannot meet. That's why love is silent. When you love someone, you don't talk. You are just present to each other. Talking ceases. So remember, when two lovers begin to talk, know well, love has ceased to be. When two lovers are silent, there is love. In love, they can understand each other. Why? Because in love, mind is not allowed to be. Language is not there, talk is not there, words are not there. Mind is non-functioning. For a few moments, mind is not allowed to function. Love becomes communion. To talk, it becomes a debate, a discussion, a controversy. You say something and you will be misunderstood. To say something is to be misunderstood because you are approaching another world with different attitudes, different orientations, different languages. There is not one world. There are as many, there are minds. Why insist on this? Just to tell you that really there is one world. And you cannot know that one world unless your mind is dissolved. If you go on clinging to your mind, you go on creating your own world. You go on projecting your own world. When mind is no more, you face the oneness, the undivided, undifferentiated existence. That existence is bliss. That existence is consciousness. That existence is truth. Anywhere you move, towards religion, you move towards no mind. Throw the mind and remain mindless but aware. If you can remain mindless and aware, you will penetrate the deepest layer of existence. Remember, just mindlessness will not do, because in deep sleep everyone becomes mindless. When there is no dreaming, Indian psychology divides human consciousness into 3 stages. Deep dreamless sleep, the deepest. Then above it, dream sleep. And above it, on the surface, what we call the waking state. In the morning, you get up from your bed, you enter the waking state. In the evening, you go to your bed, you enter dream sleep. And then, deep in the night somewhere, dream fall down into the abyss of dreamless sleep. That is known as susupti. This dreamless sleep is without mind, because there is no thought, no dream, no ripple. Everything has ceased, mind has dissolved. You are without a mind. That's why the insistence, without mind and alert. That's the only difference between samadhi and susupti. Samadhi, the ultimate peak of ecstasy, and susupti, the deepest center of dreamless sleep. Only one difference, otherwise they are one. In susupti also there is no mind, in samadhi also there is no mind, but in susupti you are unconscious, in samadhi you are perfectly conscious. But the quality of consciousness is the same. In one there is darkness, in another there is light. Through meditation, one has to achieve a dreamless sleep with full alertness. Once this happens, the drop falls into the ocean and becomes the ocean.